What's up, boys? So since there is literally nothing for me to do in game right now, I figure we could take a look at some past events and kind of talk about some of the things that has happened since Genshin is now, by some post I saw on Reddit, 6 months old. I thought this would be kind of cool. So I'm basically going to be sticking to the in-game events. To be honest, I didn't actually do a lot of the web events whenever the game first launched, simply because and any of these social media events, I'm just not even close to a fan of. Some of the in-game events also are just like weird, like, okay, this is for the battle pass. Cool. This is a test run. Cool. We're going to mainly be talking about stuff like the Elemental Crucible. Actually, I mean, I guess technically it was the first in-game event that we had. This one was pretty interesting. A lot of people really got a taste of, like, I guess the greed that MiHoYo was like taking a stance on, because this event was kind of what sparked a huge controversy of people saying that events don't need to consume resin. So you can see here, players can collect the treasure for 40 original resin. So basically it was like doing a pretty much like a world boss or something like that, which is just nuts. And the only thing that you really would get were EXP materials. I mean, you get a little bit of adventure rank and some friendship XP and stuff like that, but basically this event was pretty much where you had to fight these monsters, and the monsters would basically interrupt you from picking up these little orbs, and you would end up depositing these orbs that you would pick up. You could carry a maximum of 3 if I'm not mistaken. There were large ones and small ones, and then you would deposit them into this thing. Actually, I think I have some footage of this. Yeah, so this is back when I was actually streaming on Twitch. I don't have a lot of footage from these events because I was streaming and I just don't have the VODs for them anymore. And of course, I deleted all my VODs from Twitch just to save myself from going into any kind of issues with that. But so you would pick up this little orb and you would deposit it into this big thing, and they all had like a specific element attached to them, and if you mixed the elements, it would end up doing a reaction with the elements. So like if you ended up having a cryo element or something like that, and you picked up a pyro element, the pyro would consume the cryo element and stuff like that. It was really interesting. It was a really cool idea. Like, it was unique, and I liked it for that fact, but other than that, it was just okay. And the fact that it costed resin was really, really rough. I'm so glad that they got rid of that stuff, because it was terrible. Paying 40 resin for basically EXP materials, I'm pretty sure mathematically it worked out to where the resin made more sense to spend it here than on the ley lines at the time, because if you did 2 ley lines, remember we didn't have condensed resin back then, but you could you ended up getting slightly better rates and rewards for this, which is interesting. But anyways, moving on to our second one, I guess we can talk a little bit about the Marvelous merchandise. This has been back quite a few times. I think we've seen it at least twice, if not 3 times. And this is just basically just you go and you either have these items already collected, or you just go collect them, and then you get a random box or whatever. I'm pretty sure it started out as just being randomly, chosen at random, and you can only receive that box once. So over the course of the 7 days, you technically would get all of the boxes, but it would just give them to you in a random order. More recently though, you've got to be able to choose, sort of, in a way. Like, you can, I think it's specific to your world. So if you were to travel to a friend's world who had a pyro box and you wanted that pyro box, you could go get that box from theirs. Yeah, you can see each box had 30 primo gems in it, and then they also had other things. So like, these are talent books, EXP material, weapon enhancement materials, Mora and EXP materials, Mora and weapon enhancement, and then just straight Mora. So that's actually not that bad. These are always pretty easy, especially if you already have a lot of these items farmed. You don't really even have to do anything for this event, so it's pretty cool for that reason. Adventurers Assemble. What is this? Oh yeah, I did not participate in this. I hated this event. So basically, this was the event where you could get your friends to join in, and when they created their account, they could use your invitation code, and when they reached a certain adventure rank, you would get rewards for that. I didn't have any friends that wanted to play this game. I still don't have any friends that want to play this game, so I still hate this event. There's another test run. Ooh, Unreconciled Stars. I actually enjoyed this event just because it focused a lot on Mona, and ever since I've started playing this game, Mona has been a very coveted character that I have wanted, and something pretty important coming up about that, but we'll get to that later. There were different phases, which they've kind of kept this up Ever since this event is kind of where this really started to become a thing. So we would have different stages of the event. You would be able to do stuff here, then, you know, a few days later it would unlock this, a few days later it would unlock this, a few days later, blah blah blah. And each event just basically progressed a little bit more and more and more. You can see here that we do still actually have to pay some resin to get certain rewards here. All in all, this wasn't that bad. These rewards were pretty okay. I didn't have a really big problem with it. They gave you a free facial just for completing the event, which is actually really nice. The first event shop, if I'm not mistaken, that we actually got, and there were a ton of different things that you could get. This is where like the first crown was introduced, which I'm pretty sure, I don't know if mathematically anyone was able to start crowning their characters by the time this event came out, but we definitely got our first crown here, which you know, of course, allows you to level up your talents into even higher levels. It's like level 10, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, level 10. I have footage from a little bit of the story, but I don't. Yeah, so shout out to Mellow. I don't know. I just looked this up. Basically, you would fight these enemies. It would basically fill up like a little bar of energy, and once you got enough, you could go to these designated spots on the map, and then you could like deposit that energy into the star, and it would fill up the star. I don't know. It was interesting, I guess. It was up until this point pretty unique, and it was fine. It was decent for co-op. All in all, this one was pretty fun. The gliding challenge was another one. This one, I'm trying to remember. I think this one was actually pretty fun. Yeah, so you had the 3 different stages that you had to go through, and each stage would reward you different stuff. I thought this one was pretty good. I mean, gliding is... I don't have a problem with the gliding challenges. They're pretty fun. They're pretty unique. They have some sort of like slight challenge to them where I think it makes it fun enough to at least try to get the highest reward. So yeah, I actually kind of enjoyed this one pretty well. While it's warm, oh my god. All right, so this one was hugely debated. People hated this event. I hated this event. So this one is I'm hoping that they never bring this back. There is a daily commission that kind of goes through similar stuff. It kind of has like a food delivery type of aspect to it, but it doesn't impose like any of these insane challenges to you, which is stupid. There's some of them are stupid dumb. No sprinting, fast swimming is allowed though. No gliding, no climbing, don't take any damage, don't become affected by any element. Do you know how hard it is to not be affected by an element when literally this entire game is designed around elements? Hello? Of course, everything had to be delivered within a time limit. And it does not pause during teleport transmissions. I think that is like the biggest one, because a lot of people were saying PS4 has notoriously long load times, and when you needed to teleport, PS4 people were already at a huge disadvantage, which sucked. Basically, I despise this one. It took many tries to get some of the deliveries down, but they were all doable to an extent. This is where I really started to figure out that gliding is a lot slower than sprinting. Even though sometimes you can't sprint, gliding is just slower than sprinting, and we actually did a video completely detailing why that is. But this event was pretty hard to stomach. The rewards were negligible, to be honest. I mean, you're rewarding us with violet grass. Literally, this is like not even okay. Like what? Who cares? Who cares? The more is nice. Don't get me wrong. The more is good, but yeah, this one was not a good one. The Chalk Prince and the Dragon. So this one was actually pretty cool. This one had several different parts to it as well. So like we had Act 1 where we had to do some story stuff. I just remember this final one where you had to actually fight the Cryo Flower, which was insanely annoying sometimes. I remember trying to do this solo and I couldn't. I just was dying so freaking quickly. It wasn't even funny. This one was actually pretty fun if you did it in co-op. I enjoyed doing it in co-op. I know a lot of people had like record-breaking times with, you know, doing it solo, but this was pretty fun. You basically had to break these 3 pillars surrounding the flower. The flower would then be vulnerable, and it would go into doing its attacks. It would have attacks that would basically 2-shot most people, if not 1-shot some people. And you basically got these like little pillars that you could break, and then it would put like a force field around you to protect you, and you had to do that. There were situations where you could basically speed run through the first phase, and you could pretty much kill him within like a few. Some people were doing it in seconds, but you could usually one cycle it, and you really didn't even have to go into this this whole little like waiting game here. All in all, I actually liked this one. There were no resin costs or anything like that, which was really good. The rewards were pretty standard for an event. The fact that there were 4 acts was really, it drug it out, but it didn't seem like it took forever. It didn't really drag, which was nice. All of this stuff is pretty standard. They gave you the free 4-star weapon, the Festering Desire. They gave you pretty much a rank 5 just for doing everything in the event, which is pretty nice. So that was pretty good. I enjoyed this one. It was nice. We also had the Lost Riches event, which basically just entailed that we go to this place, dig up this stuff, find all the spots that there were treasure hidden, and then you would fight some enemies sometimes, and you basically got a little Sealy out of it. There was quite a few people that were debating that, oh, well, you need this Sealy, you need that Sealy. I think there was a survey done on Reddit that showed that most people ended up choosing the golden Sealy, which is also the one that I chose. But yeah, this was pretty simple. You just teleported somewhere, picked up some stuff, fought a few enemies. You would get really weird rewards for doing it, which was okay, I guess, but the actual rewards for completing special things were okay. Ooh, the Hypostatic Symphony. I hated this event, and the fact that we are getting a very similar event with the Ocean Aid is just, oh my god. I'm not ready for it. I hated this event so much. I think simply because at the time that this event really started to take place, I was so heavily into my character building aspects, and I was building out all of my characters rather than focusing on like one specific character. Like anyone that's done enough research on like building teams and like how to progress through this game, everybody says that you should really focus on like leveling up your main DPS, making sure that your sub DPS is up to par, then start focusing on your supports, and then, you know, like hyper investing in your carries and your DPSs and stuff like that. Like there is a more optimal way of doing it. There's even math that proves the resin is more efficient to do it one way or the other, but I just completely decided to not do that. I was building every character to at least a 4 at the time, and basically all of my characters, I had maybe like 2 or 3 characters that were level 80, and all my efforts, all of my time, all of my resource, all of my resin went into building characters up to level 60 out of 70. And I hated this event simply because I felt like I was just so underpowered. I had a lot of struggles actually completing this event. And I actually do plan on doing a video where I go over like what is actually on my account, just to kind of show you guys like everything that I've done on the account. But anyways, basically you had 3 different hypostasis that you could fight. Each one actually had a little bit more of a unique challenge than just fighting what you do in the overworld, just going, you know, and fighting the electro hypostasis. It's a little different. There were obstacles that you had to do. There were just different things that were like their attacks were a little bit more unique. They were kind of buffed up versions, if you want to think of it that way. You did get bonuses for certain characters being boosted. Even with all of the characters that I had built up, some of these were just insanely still difficult for me. But anyways, I did actually complete all of the stuff. I did get everything bought out from the shop and all that stuff, but I struggled really hard with this event. Here we had another marvelous merchandise here. This is says it's upcoming in 1.4, January 23rd through January 30th. Yeah, I think that's referencing the wrong page, but we did have another marvelous merchandise. I'm pretty sure this one was the one where you got to choose the different worlds to go to and get different boxes and stuff. 5 flushes of fortune. So this is actually pretty unique. It had a photo swap mechanic built into it. Basically what you would do is you would go through the world. Every day it would give you a specific color photo that it needs. So basically he's like trying to fine tune his camera and get the colors matched up. You would need to find red things in the world, blue things, gold things, orange things, and purple things. And you would go through and you would photo, like you may take pictures of June chilies or pyro slimes or hydro slimes or glazed lilies or whatever, like that matches the correct color. And the camera would spit out a random color in return. So he would say, hey, go photograph 10 red things for me. And then it would spit out all these random colors, and he would basically fine tune his camera to make sure that everything from now on should be red from these pictures and stuff like that. It was kind of dumb because sometimes you wouldn't get the photos and the colors that you needed. So they introduced the photo swap, which is basically anyone on your friends list. You could basically say, hey, I need this. You could just send them random colors and stuff like that. So it was interesting. It was nice. It was very unique. So I liked it for that reason, but pretty cool. And the rewards were okay, I guess. And getting super close to where we just actually left off, we do have the Lantern Rite event. So this was a huge celebration. This kind of ties back into like the Chinese culture and them kind of celebrating the Chinese New Year. There were a ton of different things in this event. There were 4 different stages. There were all kinds of different things that you could do. They gave away a lot of interesting things. Theater Mechanicus was introduced here, which I actually really enjoyed. I thought this was really fun. It was super slow, so it was kind of boring at some points, but it was a really fun minigame that basically just tested how your ability to think ahead and plan for what is coming up. It just tested you in that type of sense. So I really enjoyed that. I thought it was a really fun thing to do, and I pretty much played it to death. I still have so many lanterns crafted just because I was playing that so much. I think I still have 300 lanterns crafted on my account, but this one was very, very overwhelming. If you started during the Lantern Rite event, you probably got a ton of resources just because it was super like nice to get there, but it was probably overwhelming. I didn't start. I started when the game launched and I was sort of overwhelmed with it. But you can see there was a ton of different things that you could get. They did introduce this Does of Azoth, whatever. This is basically something that you can use to transmutate your certain materials over to other materials for character ascension. So that's actually pretty cool. I haven't used any of that yet, but it is nice that it's an option if you need it. Crowns, of course, were still given out here. And tons of talent books. You did get a special name card, all kinds of good stuff. This was a super cool event. I actually really liked it. Leeway was totally redesigned, and there were a ton of different like decorations and all kinds of stuff. There was a lot of cool stuff to go along with this event. I enjoyed the Lantern Rite event. We already talked a little bit about Theater Mechanicus. The Stand By Me event also went along with Lantern Rite. Basically, this event, they gave you a free 4-star character that hails from Leeway, and you did have to pay the currency for the Theater Mechanicus thing. Or you had to pay the currency that was only available during the event to get this, but basically you just paid 1,000 of that, special currency, and you got to choose one character. I'm pretty sure I chose Chongyun at the time, which was kind of okay in hindsight, I guess. He is now C6 after all. I think he was I got him to C1. Yeah, with this event, which was pretty wild. Yeah, I actually enjoyed all of the Lantern Rite and everything that came with it as well. The Leyline Overflow, okay. I think that this should come back, and I think that this should be on rotation. So a really cool thing that I've seen other gacha games do is they will have a rotating event that just comes back every so often, whether it's once every other week, once a month, or what have you. I think this would be a great thing to do just every other week or every month if they want to. Just give us a full week of just, this was only 3 times a day, so it's not like you could really abuse it, but still, this was really, really nice to just be able to get double bonuses without having to use condensed resin. So for basically 20 resin, you would get double the rewards as if you were using condensed resin, which was really nice. But building up a ton of Mora through this event is basically what I was doing. It's just really, really good. I think that they should bring this back and just rotate it, just because it was so nice. Okay, so the bishops and where to find them. This was interesting. This was actually pretty hands off. Basically, all you did was set somebody up on an expedition, and they couldn't already be on an expedition, like in your normal expeditions, I'm pretty sure. But you would just set the like recommended element, and you could even use characters from your girl of your friends. So if you had people on your friends list that had, like, if they were showing off their level 90 Zhongli or something, you could use them to also go on expeditions and stuff. And you basically just sent them on expedition. You come out 12 hours later and you just get some rewards. This was super hands off, super easy, super cool. And I'm pretty sure there were 4 different locations that it would take you. And you would basically get to fight some Geo bishops and stuff like that. You would basically just fight different things, and it would give you rewards whenever you beat them and stuff like that too. So I thought this one was pretty cool. It was really hands off for a lot of it, and then it was just like, hey, go kill these couple of enemies, and then boom, rewards. I liked it. It was pretty easy. And then we have the current events. So I'm not going to comment on things that are coming up yet. I'm just going to talk about the Windblume, pretty much the Windblume event. I just finished all of my stuff for it. By the time you guys see this, it'll have been a couple of days, but I just finished all of the stuff for it, and it was nice. There was a lot of cool things that happened. The story was pretty cool. I'm not the biggest fan of the weapon that they give you, but because they give it to you and they let you refine it all the way up to rank 5 is perfectly fine. A ton of battle pass experience was really great to have. Overall, I liked most of it. I did not really care for the lyre minigame. I didn't really care for this. I used to be super heavy into Guitar Hero and rhythm games and stuff like that back in like PS2, Xbox 360 era, and I was really into those rhythm games. I would say that I was pretty good at them. I mean, I wasn't like record breaking or anything, and I'm a pretty like musical person in general. Like, I used to write music. I play guitar. Like, I understand music pretty easily, but the timing on this stuff did not whatsoever match the music, even in like the expert, the pro mode or whatever it was called. It was very frustrating to play this because I was plucking or like tapping my keys to the song, to the rhythm of the song, and it would not count them. It would say that it was a fail or something like that. So when I plucked it, it was either too late, too early. Some notes weren't there, so you were playing notes that weren't even really like in the song. It was pretty annoying for that reason. Other than that, though, I actually had a lot of fun with it. I thought it was really unique, playing like both sides of the lyre with my 2 sets of keys. I actually enjoyed the mechanics of it. I just thought that the execution of the notes to the music could have been a lot better. Other than that, it was actually really fun. I actually really enjoyed it. The floral freefall, this is kind of okay, I guess. There's not really anything super amazing about it. You just fall through the air, collect some stuff, and when you get to the bottom, go through that ring and you're good. Now the bullseye balloons, this was really fun. I actually enjoyed this one. I saw something on Reddit that was like, oh man, I really wish I had Ganyu. And I was like, dude, she would be perfect. And then I just started using Ganyu every day, and it was just like, this is stupid easy. But it was kind of cool. There was like some unique things that you would do to avoid hitting certain balloons or hitting a balloon to blow up multiple balloons. Like, that was kind of cool. I enjoyed that. And then the Peculiar Wonderland. All right, so I have a problem with this. Overall, this is perfectly fine. The one little nitpick that I had was the fact that you could not get certain things. Like, I needed, the last thing that I needed to do, the absolute last thing to complete this event was to go through Shimmering Path in 30 seconds or less. I spent probably an hour trying to force the game to just give me this. It would not give me this stupid mini game. It would give me this one, the barrage one, And it would give me this one, the Windblume Blessing. And it would give me this one, the Stepping Stone Antics, but it would not give me Shimmering Path, which was really frustrating because that was the only one I needed to complete in less than 30 seconds and I was good. But other than that, I actually enjoyed most of the mini games the first few times that I played them, because I did have to play them multiple times just to get some of the things done. Was kind of annoying. I did like the fact that if you did good in the 3 mini games leading up to the fight, you did get a pretty insane like blessing. It was always super cool to like feel super powerful because I did good in these events. I thought that was really nice. And of course, you know, there were a ton of different things. I haven't messed around with this balloon. I'm pretty sure this is just another pet, right? Yeah, it looks like this is just like a little pet, which is, that's fine. You did get the lyre, which I think this is really cool, being able to play your own music. Reddit has literally been filled with just people playing music lately, which is pretty hilarious. And then of course I talked about the weapon that you get automatically, refinement 5. That's pretty cool. But yeah, honestly, this was actually a really cool event. I didn't pay attention to a lot of the story. And of course, you know, we didn't talk about a lot of the web events and stuff like that. There's a bunch of different things in terms of web events that they've done, which are okay. I just personally don't, they're just busy work to me. Like, you just do a few clicks here and there and then boom, you're done. So they're not really worth talking about. But yeah, that's pretty much going to be it for today, guys. I'd love to know which event you guys enjoyed the most, or if you didn't start at launch, which event was live whenever you first started. I think it would be interesting to see what you guys enjoyed as far as the events go, because the events have definitely improved a lot since the Elemental Crucible. I definitely think they have improved a lot. But that's going to be it for today, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I will catch you guys later.